Hi, I'm Brittney King.
And I'm Lisset King. Welcome to Honest Feedback. We're just a little podcast here for you. We're here to offer some different perspectives, a loving perspective, a very kind, open, kind perspective. That's her.
You're kind as well. You're kind. It's a different kind of kindness. It's like a sensei kind of kindness where it's like there might be a riddle. You have to find your way through. Yeah. There's a lot of hey, let me help you up-level your skills in your mind. So I do believe the sensei's love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. They also teach.
Yes. I like to lovingly teach.
Yeah.
When someone is open, of course.
Obviously.
With consent.
Yes. Very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
So we threw this together to help people find resolutions, perspectives, and today our topic is mismatching. Sometimes when you and your partner have either different sleeping styles or different ways of speaking, you just keep missing the mark. We're going to see if we can offer something for these people.
Have you experienced a mixed match in relationship?
Yes, definitely. I had a partner, bless her heart. We had the biggest problem, choosing a place to eat. Yeah. It was, and I know I'm not alone. Because I've heard this from several people. But it was this constant hey, where do you want to eat? And I'm like, I don't care. Burgers, because I always want burgers. And she's like, no. And I'm like, cool. Where do you want to eat? Because I'm pretty easy. I can go anywhere. She's like, no. You decide. And I'm like, okay, all right. Sushi. How's sushi?
Oh God, that face.
No, I don't want that. I'm like, okay, cool. Where would you like to eat? And she's like, well, I really don't care. Whatever you want. And so I would go to my go-to, which is Mexican. Yeah. And let's just offer I'm pretty solid. Any of those three, you know me.
Yeah.
Those three?
Yeah, you're down.
That's my choice. I'm down. And she's like, oh. And
Did you ever eat?
I don't think so. I think I almost perished in that relationship. I know we'd eventually, because obviously I'm still here. Yeah. However, oh gosh, it was so painful. It was a real thing, and it was I still sometimes freak out when it's dinner time. I'm please just tell me. And you know what I appreciate about you? Yeah. You say, no, I don't want that. Let's have this. And I'm like, gosh, I'm going to eat today. This is fantastic. Briz, no problem telling me I don't want that. This is what I want. And there's magic in that.
Know what you want.
You got to know what you want. Yeah. So I just want to say I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your ability to decide.
Thank you. That's big. Yeah. That's super big.
Yeah. Well, I wish them well. If you're out there. I hope you found someone who likes what you like to eat, and I think you're very happy.
Maybe there's a restaurant they can go to. I don't know. You decide. Yeah. That is another comedian's joke. But.
Yes. So, yeah, that was pretty challenging. How about you? Have you ever had any mismatchy type conversations? Or?
Well, I don't know if it was ever... Well, I had a conversation about it once. It didn't go well. But I have noticed previously, I had a lot of mismatch in sexual desire.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
I would
Tell me more.
Yeah, I'd be meeting people, I'd be dating people, be in a relationship, and they were like, I'm kind of cool on this. And I'd be like, I am not satisfied or satiated. I need more of this. And they're like, can we take naps now?
They're cool on this? Cool on what?
Sex.
Oh, sorry. I need clarity.
Okay.
You had sex before me? What about that white dress? Just kidding. Yes. So, as you were saying.
So original. Yes, I did have sex before you. And lots of people couldn't keep up. And it was a very intense and sticky situation because you don't want to offend anybody being like, by the way, I'm not satisfied. But also, like, the other person's like, I'm tired. And you're just like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Like tired, like they needed a nap. I like my naps. Like, is it afternoon nap time? Were you trying to have sex during afternoon nap time?
Afternoon nap time is also sex time, but this was just, I just noticed I had higher libidos than a series of people I was in relationship with.
Yeah.
So I'm happy now that I am met in this place, but apparently not during nap time.
Lisette likes her naps in the afternoon. We can have sex like an hour before or right after, but I just need my naps.
I know you do, baby.
That's how I keep my energy up. For all yours, to keep up the stamina.
Yeah. Yes. It's very important to me. Well, with that, let's get into the callers.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay. Our first one.
Hi, Honest Feedback. This is Anxious in Los Angeles, and my pronouns are she, her, and I am calling today with a question about, it's sort of work and relationship based in one. I am not a morning person, and my fiance is, and we have two different kind of like work styles with that. So he gets up in the morning and does all of his work, and then I am more so of a late morning person and feel like I come alive more in the afternoon, evening. But by that time, he's already like gotten his work done and he is ready to kind of relax and like hang out with me. And that's when I'm sort of like stressing out because I still feel like I have all of these things on my list to get done, and yet I do want to like spend time with him and hang out. So I kind of find myself in this anxious mindset a lot of times where I feel like guilty for not getting my work done if I'm hanging out with him, or guilty for not hanging out with him if I'm getting my work done. So it's kind of an interesting situation, and I don't know if the solution is just to like change my sleeping habits and get up earlier, even though that doesn't really feel like that's right in my body, or what to do. So I'm just kind of lost and would really appreciate your help. Sorry for the feedback. I'm at the airport. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Well, we appreciate her making the call in the airport.
Yes.
When you got a question that needs to be answered, you got to ask it. And we're here for it.
Definitely. Wow.
Yeah. So would you like to start this one off?
Yeah. I feel like this is a great time to introduce date days. Dun, 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 dun. Lisette and I do these things called date days. Other people might be familiar. They're called a date.
But it's a full day.
It's a full day. So we put aside a full day where we're like, hey, this is going to be the day where we have like deep, connected, quality time. We'll do fun things together. We'll lay around in bed together. Like whatever it is that is our heart's desire, we're going to do that on that day and not plan other things so much on those days.
Yeah.
So that way we can have like deep connected time that we want together. Because life gets busy sometimes and it's like schedules are moving, but then we know, hey, we're always going to have like this space to like have the quality time that we desire.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find that it always nourishes us.
Yes.
Like it really makes up for like the week of busyness. Yeah. I really want to honor who you are as a person. Like changing your sleep habit is not the way to go. There are studies showing that like we just have different clocks, and some people function better at night. Some people function better in the evenings, or real early birds or morning people. And there's different styles. There's a book called Power of When. I'll put the link below. It's really good. It really breaks down different sleeping styles. It has a test. There's a test on the website to find out where you are and what maximizes your productivity. Because for you to change your schedule to be on schedule with him, if that doesn't maximize your efforts or your productivity or your creativity, whatever lights you up, we definitely want you to do what you do when you come alive. You said you come alive in the afternoons and evenings, then get it. Like make it happen. And perhaps even taking this test together and finding out how you're different and appreciating the differences would really allow you to connect in the middle. Your partner doesn't want you to not be productive. They are just probably looking for a time to connect.
Yes.
So designated connection time, definitely honor who you are.
Definitely. And there's lots of ways to make it work. Like we do the date day where it's like one day aside. You can also say if there's ways in your schedule, like say, hey, you're both able to figure out like a similar lunchtime. And it's like, hey, we can have lunch together. I don't know if you like work from home and yes, have lunch together, or if you're like out and about and it's like, hey, it actually, that would work for us to have like a little bit of connection time during this. Or if he's like, hey, I get up really, really early and you're like, I get up at like 11, but it's like, we can work out together at like noon because like that's when I actually do my break at that time and like it works out. So that way like there is other ways to find connection time, but like let's try to find it when it's both like ready and available and both of you are able to show up to be in connection with each other, not let me rearrange my entire schedule in the way that like works best for me energetically and what my flow is so that we can meet and figure out like what feels good. You mentioned experiencing guilt about if you're not able to be present with your work or if you're not able to be present with your partner. And I would encourage you to like deep dive, maybe journal in about like where's this guilt coming from and like what is it attached to? Are there like beliefs about like, hey, like I'm not spending enough time with my partner and I'm feeling like a lack. And so you're trying to make up for it and it feels like things are getting pushed off of where you want it to be? Or is it things of like, oh, I should be because he's free and he wants to hang out now. So like I should be available. And it's like, it's about a should thing and not actually like we're not having enough connection time. So like figure out what actually works best for you and like dig into like what that guilt is trying to show you. Because there might be some nuggets of gold in there.
Yeah, don't shit on yourself.
Definitely not.
Don't shit on
Definitely
yourself.
not.
Yeah. Excellent point. Everything you just said.
Thanks, baby.
Also, Britt and I may not be able to connect throughout the entire day, but one of the activities we love doing is walking our dog, which is a 3-way connection because she needs to go out. She needs to go out every night. And so this allows us to get out there and be with each other. And it really is, it's so nourishing. It's 1 hour a day that we know, we're going to connect, we're going to catch up. And that's going to be our like little light, putting a little fuel on our candlelight fire.
Yes, absolutely. I just also want to add, let's take the time that you guys have where you're doing different things as gifts, you know? Perhaps he is wanting to like hang out and chill and all that stuff, and that's great. But also this might be time where he's off of work and it's like, hey, what are the things that really lights him up, like hobbies and things like that he really wants to do? And like when you guys have these mismatches in schedule, it's like, ooh, have you gotten in some quality self-time? Have you had a date with yourself and really been able to honor and nourish the relationship with yourself? Sometimes these things can be little gifts and we scooch past them because we're like, no, I need to like be in connection like with someone else. And it's like, sometimes, And then also the connection with yourself is wildly great. So
fantastic. Oh, can I just go ahead and add in me days while we're here? Okay, so we have date day. Date day is a designated day for dating each other. And we also have designated me days. And me day, I cannot preach it enough. It was a gift from one of my ex-partners. She definitely always wanted a day to herself. And once I got over taking it personally, I was like, well, I too will take a me day. And magic. Like just one day to give yourself whatever you want, to do whatever you want, to follow your pleasure and follow what lights you up. Like it's anything from I'm going to sit in front of TV and, drink a few beers to I'm going to sit in the hot tub. I'm going to just read 17 books because this is my day to do it. And Brittney doesn't ask me for anything during that day. Like I don't even wash a dish. It's fantastic.
Yes, I don't cook for anybody else on those days. I'm like, I will only make my one meal for me that I want with exactly the things that I want.
Yeah.
Like it's your day to do whatever for you to nourish yourself.
Yeah. Do you have designated days to give yourself pleasure?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I said what I said. Yeah, that's important. That's just as important as your communal time, because then it makes all the time that much richer.
Mm-hmm.
It makes your work time richer. It makes your play time richer, because everything has a designated time to be nourished and enriched, and it's made our relationship so much stronger.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
Well, I hope that helps. Anxious in LA.
Yeah.
Should we get into the next call?
Yeah, totally.
Hello, this is Terry, and forgive me that my question is kind of vague, but also feels really important. It's around communication and communication styles. I realize how important communication is in relationships, and I see a pattern coming up for me and my partner. I speak very metaphorically. I feel like I'm a very feminine embodied, like feminine energy, like very fluid and artistic and watery, and I'm not the most rigid, logical, practical all the time, and my partner really is. And I'm looking for knowledge, tools, suggestions on how we can have better communication and how we can understand each other more, because we very clearly care about each other. We are trying to create a wonderful team dynamic, but we just feel like we're speaking two different languages often. I know there's stuff around, like we do a lot of stuff around timing throughout the day. Like if he's in what we call work mode, I try not to bring the most emotional conversations to the table, but that's still not enough. So I don't know what you guys do, what your communication is like, but I'd love any suggestions for creating a level playing field, for creating a safe container, and for helping us both able to hear and understand the other person as much as we hear and understand ourselves. So thank you guys so much. I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Perry.
Yes.
Thanks for calling. That's a great question. I'm super stoked to answer this one.
Yeah,
for
okay.
Perry.
You jump in, baby. You're excited.
I'm so excited. The reason I'm excited about this is because I was absolutely lost on this until I learned about it in neurolinguistic programming. Mm-hmm. There are two types of listeners. There's two ways to categorize listeners and speakers, and one is inferential. Read between the line, as she said, like little metaphoric, fluid. And then the other style is a literal listener and speaker. And what it sounds like is that this is exactly the situation you've got going on right now. Mm-hmm. You are a inferential listener and speaker, and he is a literal speaker and listener. Mm-hmm. And so it's very important, first of all, for you guys to see each other, see your differences. And once you know what the other partner is doing and needing, you can actually gather and ask for more clarification. I can be quite literal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can be a quite literal listener and speaker. And Brittney will ask me for something, and I'll be like, great. So she'll be like, oh, I'd really like you to do this in the future. And I'm like, awesome. Mm-hmm. I hear you. But if she doesn't say, I need you to do this now, it will forever be in the future.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So your partner being very rigid and practical is actually quite literal. And so it's going to be a stretch for both of you, for you to speak directly in what you want and what you need, and for him to say, I don't know exactly what you're asking for. Will you please say that again? I always say, will you say that again twice as clear? Because it's important to just know your strengths and your limitations in that communication style.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say I'm a very inferential listener and speaker, and it is what has made me thrive in a variety of vocations, including waitressing. I had you did not want for anything if I was your waitress, and like being a production assistant, being a producer and a director. Like if there's something people are saying of like a roundabout, like we're thinking about this and this and this, I am already on my way pulling options of like, here are the 3 options that you need to look at if you're going to go with that direction, because I'm an inferential listener, and that it is a skill that has served me well. And I would say baby's a very literal listener.
Yeah, very, very literal, very direct. I say what I mean when I speak a desire. That's what I want.
Yeah.
However, she may say, I really want to go on vacation. And I'm like, that's nice.
Yep.
I like that idea. Thank you for sharing the thought.
Yes. And it was a learning opportunity. It was a growth opportunity. Now I know if I'm going to make a request of my partner, Lisset, that I would say, baby, I would love to go on a trip in June, and I would love for you to take the lead on executing and planning that. Is that something you can do?
Yes. Fantastic. I would love to. We are going somewhere in June.
Yes.
Just real quick question. Do you want to go somewhere in June? And am I planning this right now?
No, I'm good.
Okay, that was an example.
That was an example.
See, like literally, I need to hear that is an example of something. Otherwise, I am planning something in June as soon as we get off this pod shoot.
Thank you. I appreciate that, baby. I appreciate it. But it's like, it's the fact is I had to say, I want to go, not just, baby, I want to go on a trip. I want to go on a trip. When do I want to go on a trip? I want you to plan it. Like that, not even just like, hey, we should go on a trip in June. She would be like, yeah, we should.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I just assume that that's going to happen by some other force than me.
Unless it's a direct ask.
Yes.
So just like knowing about these different communication styles, we've been able to meet each other there.
I will say, so like the most simple way to say it is like someone could say, I'm thirsty. And Brittney will run and get them a glass of water. And I'm like, wow, they should do something about that.
Or great, they're sharing with the class.
Yeah, great. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're thirsty. Like that's it. I just collect and gather the data.
Yeah, I'm back with still and sparkling.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's beautiful. And I just want to say I admire it. Like it is such a wonderful way to be. Like I will say things that I want, and they are so executed. I remember talking about my 40th birthday, and I was like, these are things that I would desire on my 40th birthday. And baby listed every single one. I had friends flying in from around the country because she heard me say, I would love to spend my birthday with my friends. And made it happen. So that there's so much beauty in that, and there's something to be appreciated about that. And there's also something wonderful about literal listeners. Like, she doesn't have to guess what I want.
At all. Ever. It's very clear. It's really helpful. It's helpful for gift shopping. It's helpful for, as someone who loves to like give, it's someone's like, hey, this is exactly what I want. It's like, oh my God, I can exactly go get that. I don't have to guess. It's a wonderful thing. So like celebrate these differences in communication style. And I would say like, how do we use them to thrive?
So, oh gosh, it's so powerful. And I get to lean into it sometimes where I'll be like, oh, she said something. I missed something. What specifically are you asking for, babe? Just even that one simple phrasing when someone's being flowery is just going, what specifically are you asking for? Because I want to fill that need. I so badly want to fill your need. I just can't read between the lines often.
That's fine.
Yes.
I feel like it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to lean into our desires and speaking what we actually want. And I like love that you guys have different styles. Like celebrate your differences.
Yes.
Celebrate how exciting it is. How exciting is it that you're a literal listener? That means I can literally tell you exactly what I want and you will get it. You know what I mean? How exciting that you're flowery and watery and stuff like that. Like I can get more vivid pictures of the things that you want. Like, got it. This is exciting. So I would say, since like share with this partner, like this is what I've learned about the different styles. Like, investigate that for each of you. Feel what feels true, and then come up with the way that you two wish to best communicate with each other. Yeah. One tool that I love, and I've used it more in conflict than just casual conversation, but I think it works all the time, is what I heard you say was, and repeat back to them what you heard them say. I feel like this might be a great tool if you guys are feeling like, hey, I'm not quite sure if we're catching each other. It's like, hey, what I heard you say was this. Is that accurate? And then let the person tell you, like, yes or no. Yes. And depending on how literal a person is, of the literal listener, I would say you need to be very clear with, like, the tenses you use. Yes. Like, are you speaking in, the tenses you use.
Ethereal time.
Yes, ethereal time. And are you being specific with the asks that you have? Yes. So sometimes, I know, I'm not sure what stage of the relationship you're in, but I know, especially in the beginning, sometimes we kind of like softball our wants. We're like, that might be too much to ask. That's too big to ask someone. That's too big of a want. Like, let me couch it in a bunch of softer things, smaller asks, but it's not my real truth of like the real ask. And I would encourage you to lean into that fire, girl, and ask for what you really want. Be direct. Yes. And ask for what you want. Because like at the end of the day, then I'm sure this person would love to give you what you want, you know? And either they can or they can't, but you'll never know unless you get clear about asking. And I feel like this is wonderful practice for us all, because how many times have we all as young children or whatever, or women in this world, been told like, no, don't ask for that. So like, what an wonderful opportunity to practice your voice. Yes. To speak up for yourself, to say, I want this. Yeah. I want this. I want you to take me out on a date. And you can add it in your own. I'm not asking you to be different either. You can add it in your own. You said you communicate from a very feminine water style. Like if you want this person to ask you out on a date or whatever it is, say like from your feminine of like, it would make me so happy for you to take me out on a date. It would light me up for you to plan a dinner and take me out and for us to have a deeply nourishing, connected time. That's what would make me happy.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
When specifically would you like this date?
Oh, good catch, baby.
Yeah. That's a tool for the literal listener. Like if there's details missing, what specifically, how specifically, when specifically, the word specifically is your best friend. It gets them to chunk down into the details of what you need. I understand when it absolutely feels like you're speaking two languages. Because you kind of are a little bit, you're definitely mismatching how you speak to each other. And it's not a relationship ender. We are doing wonderful. Yes. We're doing wonderfully well. We did have to learn how to navigate around it. So
I would say navigate with it, through it.
Navigate with it.
Yes.
That's right.
Like let's support us going forward with it.
Yeah. I'm excited for you. This is a wonderful opportunity for growth.
Celebrate each other's differences, get clear on what you want, and let's start asking for it in ways that feel good to you. Yes. And I'm really excited for you and your partner to have better communication. Let us know how it goes. And if anybody else wants to try some of these things out, let us know. Like, what are you and your partner? Are you both inferential? We're just metaphors.
Metaphors. Yeah.
Nobody ever got dinner.
Everyone's hungry.
Yeah, let's get clear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we really just want everyone to have the best possible relationships possible.
Ever. The best relationship ever, whatever that looks like for you.
Yes. We want you to thrive. So, and this is how we do it. This is how we help people thrive. This is our little corner of the internet where we get to serve. And we really need you to do that. So please give us a call at 971-895-4111. And share your question, your pseudonym, your real name, your pronouns, anything that feels good, any pertinent information, please include the question so that we can answer it here on our little podcast.
Yes, and thank you for being a part of our community. And the best way to be an active member is tell a friend. Share this podcast with a friend. And then all the other best ways are liking and subscribing and rating and reviewing and following us on all the socials.
Yes, we are Honest Feedback Podcast on all socials, and I am directly asking you, please go ahead and like us. Like us on the socials. It helps us get around. It helps the word spread.
Yes.
We really appreciate you. And as always, until we meet again, be honest with each other.